passion project I worked on at SCAD. This was actually my graduate thesis, and I also took it to as part of the Oculus Launchpad program in 2017. So it was a program where you applied to, and if you were selected, you were one of 100 people that would go out to Menlo Park in California and work on a vertical slice, which is kind of like a proof of concept or prototype of a game or experience. So I'm a big fan of cryptozoology, which is hidden creatures like Sasquatch, Loch Ness Monster, and I was working on an experience about a Sasquatch that fell into an ancient underground temple and had to find his way out. So I did a lot of lore building, did a lot of art direction, a lot of fun stuff. So I didn't 3D build this, but I did the art directions and the character design for it. If I can open this. Thank you, YouTube. Okay, well, there's sound, so. So this was built by Zach. He did the 3D modeling. This is actually done in Unreal Engine. This is actually my first project. It's SCAD, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I did it anyway. It was fun. I did a lot of the hieroglyphics that you see here in the scene. I did the language for the Sasquatches, and all the lore building. And I was going for a very Samurai Jack vibe. I'm a fan of Scott Wells. He does the art direction, or not art direction. The background designs for Samurai Jack and Star Wars, Clone Wars TV show and more. So never got to finish it. It's an unfinished project. It's really right now an environment, but there was a whole story and thing. And it was actually a VR film, so it's my first VR project. Well, kind of, not really, but first my own VR project, not working on a team. So. Supposed to be the statue of the Shadow Demon, and this is supposed to be the character's ancestor, so that founded his tribe and everything. So it was like a tribe of Sasquatches that eventually explained how Sasquatches got their Earth. So I did a lot of the art direction, did the poster design, and talked about what brushes you needed to use. Sarah Von Rose did this amazing concept of the interior of it, and this was just referencing Samurai Jack, because I wanted to go for some of the color palettes and things, and did some storyboard, did some previs, which is a 3D storyboard, did some character design, design of this character, all sorts of stuff. So that was fun. And
would you say the word storyboard again?
Storyboard?
Yeah. Did you hear that? Storyboarding first before you even develop
it. Are you a storyboard professor?
Well, we try to stress that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Storyboarding, planning your story is key. Actually, I can just go into this blog. Oh, it works. Sweet. WordPress didn't go away. Where was it? So when I did the storyboard, and this was, my entry into VR. I did an environment blocking map. So with VR, I had to think about the environment, how you tell a story in an environment. And I made this little map of this is where the camera was, because at this time a lot of VR films had a camera in the center, and I also wanted to graduate, so I put the camera in the center and was animating around that. So I had a red line to indicate where I don't want it to go too far away, depending on key character moment. So I did block mapping is what I was calling it. And then I was world building. I was thinking about where did these Sasquatches come from, what was their life like, what was the weather pattern like. Rogoff also, he's a fellow SCAD student alum. He's currently out in LA doing a lot of animation there. But he did a storyboard as well of a fight scene that was going to happen. I ended up scrapping the fight scene, but there's be a fight scene between this character's name is Xanis, this is the main character, and Chayton, who is this war chief. And then I was doing some character design thumbnails, trying to figure out what this shadow demon would look like, and just did a bunch of thumbnails. It's always good to start with silhouettes. If you're focusing on character design, it's always good to start with silhouettes. Similar to storyboarding, it's always good to sketch. It doesn't matter how neat or clean it is, getting your ideas out on paper is great. And I think the reason why I have Harry Potter in here is Savannah's about 4 hours away from Universal Studios Orlando. And so I took a trip there. I spent 16 hours each day in Universal, specifically Diagon Alley, and used that as a frame of reference for VR. Like theme park design is actually a huge inspiration for what I do in immersive experiences, VR, etc. So it's just funny that I'm working on a location-based project here in Memphis. It's just combining those interests. So the Diagon Alley was a huge inspiration for my work, and just theme parks in general. I have to go back. But yeah, that kind of another one. Yeah, this was just like a Memphis thing. But I did a lot of, when I mentioned medical device companies, I did a lot of inside bone and bone growth. So this is also done in Unreal Engine. This is one of the, I think the few Unreal Engine projects I did for the studio. It was a small studio out in Collinsville, but had a camera moving inside the bone wall and would show how bone growth was happening. This was actually for a medical device company that would use this for their team to educate how bone growth was happening. And then had some AR filters and different things like that for St. Jude when I worked there, and Snapchat as well. So I don't have like a lot on my website. I never got around to updating it, which I probably should. I definitely encourage you, definitely build on your website and stuff and make it look much better than what I did here. But yeah, that's me. I hope that made sense. I have much older work. I don't know how deep I need to go. This is kind of just killing time right now. But I have much older work from college. That's all I need. Maybe I can find my Behance if it's still up. Let's see. I'll put my stuff up here. No, that's my idea. Let me get my, sorry. Oh, okay. This is much older work. So I mentioned I was a traditionalist artist. I did a lot of drawing and painting. So this is much older work that I did in undergrad with graphite and pencil. I'm a big fan of monsters, creatures. I love Vincent Price, so I did a caricature of Vincent Price with graphite and drawing and pen and such. So those foundations still influence my work, and I still think about, like, research is a big part for me. I like to research and reference. So when I was in undergrad, I did a lot of reference of artists and different things. So this is actually a white paper that I took charcoal and just went to town. But yeah, this is much older work. Yeah, different things like that. This was one of the digital pieces when I was transitioning to digital and design. And I think this got featured on SCAD, but I didn't know until later because I didn't really use Twitter. But yeah, so that's my work. I know that was a long answer, so yeah. Any other questions?
You had, you had mentioned that the logo comprised of 5 different worlds. What are those 5 worlds, and would they be available in immersive experiences at the same time, or is it also going to be phased in?
Oh, logo. This?
Yes.
Okay, so the experience is 18 different worlds.
18, sorry.
The logo, this is more of like, this is actually the Baron. This is actually modeled after Christopher, but this is the Baron that is lost in the multiverse. That's Mud Island. This is included in Pirates of Mud Island. And when you look at it as a whole, the B, the V, and the O, that's Bevo. So that's, I don't know if you can see
Yeah.
Bevo. But I think this is more of like a, almost like steampunk vibe. And you start off in steampunk, and then you venture out into like time. There'll be a time section, which ironically this is called the River of Time, but you're actually not time traveling. but there is like a time area where time does slow down, but you're going into alternate worlds, and we're not going to be publicly saying this. All our worlds are the multiverse of Memphis. We're referencing Memphis in the multiverse. So we not only will have like a big art build and a big tech build, we're going to be building. We're going to have 200 songs created for our experience. Because each time you're on our ship, the track changes, and you actually have an opportunity to take control of one of our big river boats and choose where you want it to go. And everybody on that ship will experience that in real time. But it just takes the best of like what I feel like. Memphis is known for revolutionizing entertainment. We're known for doing a lot of amazing things, so it makes more sense to bring an immersive entertainment experience into the city and having that melting pot of different things. So yeah.
Very exciting.
Nice. Catherine, I was wondering about your workflow in Unreal. So the students, we're doing a lot of like blueprinting, moving platforms and stuff for an obstacle course, or doing little mini games like making asteroids or little WarioWare games or something. But you're doing a lot more like animation and video editing, it seems like. And can you kind of compare those workspaces and how you're using Unreal Engine, where you're doing video editing, which would be in Premiere, or motion graphics, which would be in After Effects?
Yeah, and as well as placing sets, like placing the objects in the scene, making sure it's lit well, making sure it looks great, and then, yeah. I guess for me, and even from if you're doing game design, like blocking in game design is key. Same thing for even set building in 3D or placement, or building for any immersive or gamified environment. I'm kind of going through a blocking phase, even though I'm using like existing assets, so I'm blocking with that. I always start in a blocking phase. Once I've established what the environment looks like, then I go through and animate, like for example in, I'm gonna go down here. Oh, no, I'm gonna use my mouse. Oh, I have to go up, that's right. For example, here, I have to add the flying ships and vehicles. So once I establish where the camera placements, as well as the scene how the city looks, I go into the ships, and I'll do a rough pass of the ship. So I'll just move a ship across, and move multiple ships across to see how that feels. Once I get that down in a pat, then I do detailed animation. And then once that's done, I will add additional, like I'll render it out, and I'll take it into probably actually no, I forgot. I will insert a weather pattern, so that way if it's raining, it can actually hit the windows. I can insert that and render out different variations of that, and then I'll also add some like dirt and grime to the windows, because to add a level of realism and different things like that. So try to get as much done in Unreal as possible. Once I'm done with that, I go and render it and add additional effects on top. So it's a layering process. It goes through several steps, similar to even if you're doing a story or doing games. It goes through some sort of pre-production where you're planning out the game side. You're planning out what is your game design doc, what is your game logic, to blocking your game and testing your game. So I'll be testing this and rendering out on location to see how it feels. Like, how does this feel in the space when people come in? So a lot of back and forth.
Do you find yourself doing a lot of blueprinting, or is it more like keyframe, timeline-based animation stuff?
It's mostly sequencer, so I haven't really touched blueprints. I'm actually also just learning on the job, so I'm getting back into Unreal Engine after a while. So mostly that, unless if there is a blueprint setting I need to add into it, but mostly sequencer and setting and materials. But, yeah.
Okay, you have some more questions? You have a question?
I don't really have a question. I wanted to let you guys know something. So, starting next year, Epic's gonna start giving me stuff to give to you guys if you sign up and register. So it's like swag, and they're also gonna start giving us catering for food for meetups like this.
And this is a manual that runs the
Yeah.
Unreal Engine Memphis group.
Yeah, I'm the community manager for Unreal Engine Memphis. So the other thing I want to tell you guys, they're gonna start giving us funding to have speakers come out to talk to you guys. So they have partners like Disney, Intel, Nvidia, Dell, Levano, a bunch of different people And they have film directors. They have Snoop Dogg and his son as one of the people that work there. So,
Fun fact, Snoop Dogg's a distant cousin of mine.
so yeah, make sure you sign up. And start next year, we'll start giving you guys swag and all that good stuff. So, yeah.
And the Unreal Engine Memphis Meetup Discord.
Oh yeah, tell them about the Global Game Jam.
Yeah, Global Game Jam usually happens towards the end of January every year. Everyone around the globe builds, like, not everyone, but people around the globe build a team that they sign up online to Global Game Jam. I think it's globalgamejam.com. If you type in Global Game Jam, you'll find it. It's the largest game jam in the world. And you build a game usually in a weekend with a team. It could be a team of 2 or big as, I've seen some as big as 30 or bigger. And you work on a game, and there's usually a prompt, like maybe this year's game jam theme is, I don't know, let's say mocks. So you could build a game about mocks. You can be as very specific to mocks, but you can also be as abstract and loose. It doesn't have to mention mocks or have mocks, but it can reference it in some way. So they've extended the game jam duration, usually from a weekend to sometimes a week. So I just go to globalgamejam.com and check that out. But the University of Memphis Game Developers, which has a Discord as well, usually hosts inside the FedEx Institute of Technology. And it's great. That's how I kind of even got more into Unity and different things like that. It's great to learn something. You don't have to have a lot of experience to do with game jams. Some people do card and board game jams, which I find to be a lot harder. But yes.
Any more questions? Well, thanks, y'all. Thanks, Catherine, for coming and chatting with us. Yeah, we'll keep cooking with Unreal Engine and keep tabs on what's going on in Mud Island and in the Unreal and Memphis Game Dev Discord. Yeah, at some point there's tours that can happen. Yeah. I've been on a tour, and yeah, we've like turned a corner and an extra person shows up that like they're covered in dust or something. Yeah. But yeah, and the time's gonna pass. We'll just like keep working. Yeah, thank you all. Y'all are free to go. Class is over. It's the weekend for most of y'all now. Unless y'all got Blender class tonight. Who's got Blender tonight? Yeah,